Howdy, folks. Welcome to the show. Happy Mother's Day. Wasn't a happy ending for a lot of us, including myself. Once again, for the second game in a row, I'm just gonna say this ahead of time. Yes, the reffing was bad. No, it was not rigged for the Canucks. No, it was not rigged for the Oilers. No, it did not favor a team specifically. I think Nurse and what's the other penalty that I had here? The Nurse penalty and the Draisaitl penalty were pretty soft. I thought the Zadorov and Benchminer penalty was fine. There was missed calls both sides. It is what it is. You got to deal with that. It is what you got to do. And refs aren't perfect, and it is the toughest game to ref in my opinion. But that's a whole different video. End of the day, yeah, reffing wasn't good. Whether that's the ref's fault or system's fault. And we'll just get into it because I don't really want to talk about it too much because I've already dealt with enough people saying it was rigged for the Canucks. No. It was rigged for the Oilers. No. It just sucked. Anyways, speaking of power plays, the Oilers get a power play. It's for the third straight game. There's a penalty within the first 5 minutes of a game. And for the third straight game, that power play leads to a goal. I'm pretty sure game 2. Because I know Vancouver had a power play to start game 2. I'm trying to remember if they scored. I think they did. Anyways, whatever the case, Besser, he trips up Leon Draisaitl. And the Canucks penalty kill does good enough to tire at the top line. But a juicy rebound allows an activating Mattias Ekholm to score his third goal of the playoffs and the series. He's assisted by Evander Kane and Darnell Nurse. Ekholm becomes the first Oilers defenseman to have a goal in 3 consecutive postseason games since Paul Coffey. Then, almost 3 minutes later, Draisaitl, he's called for interfering with Elias Pettersson. And the Canucks score on this power play too. It was a shot from Besser that goes into the back of the net. It is deflected by Elias Lindholm, so he is eventually credited with his 4th goal of the playoffs, and assisted by Besser and Quinn Hughes. Besser knew it, Lindholm knew it, they all knew it, but the statisticians didn't know it and the fans didn't know it, so it's initially recorded as a Besser goal, who then scores 2 more goals. So it feels like a natural hat trick. There is a hat thrown on the ice on Besser's 3rd goal, but his hat trick's eventually taken away in the second intermission. But his first actual goal, Besser's first actual goal, came 13 minutes 18 seconds into the period. He was assisted by Miller and Myers. And then he scores again just over 5 minutes later. It's his 7th goal of the playoffs. He's assisted by Pius Suter. Period ends 3-1 for the Canucks. Shots were 11-9 for the Canucks. Skinner did not look good. Both of Besser's goals were pretty tough saves, would have required a pretty tough save. So it's hard to blame Skinner. But that seems to just be the case. It's just like, I've been saying this all year. It's like, that was a pretty tough goal. But it'd be nice to say, that was a pretty tough save. Good job, Skinner. He's not stepping up. You have to step up. Everybody has to step up in the playoffs. Skinner is not. And he's not the only one among the Oilers who's not. But he certainly will get the brunt of the criticism. I've also dealt with some stupid fans talking about, does Skinner even care? Of course he cares. Obviously. If he didn't care, he would not have made it to the NHL. Jeez. I've had to deal with a lot of stupidity online today, and I hope I'm not spreading any more myself. You can let me know in the comment section below. Try not to spread any stupidity yourself either. It's a very toxic plague. While you're there, consider liking the video and subscribing, turning on notifications for more. Now, second period. The Oilers, in a lot of ways, have a good period, but it's not good enough. But it does start well. Philip Hronek is called for holding Corey Perry. There was a scramble in front of the net, and Perry, he tries to put the puck in, but he couldn't because his stick was being held by both Artur Shilovs and Philip Hronek. So it's a power play for the Oilers. There's a lot of thinking about maybe it was a goal. Decided not. It was a pretty tough call. And the call on the ice was no goal. So no goal was the call. And the Oilers do score on this power play. Draisaitl scores his 7th goal with not much room, but he doesn't need much. He's assisted by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Evan Bouchard. Then, 9 minutes later, so just past the halfway point of the second period, Mattias Ekholm goes off cross-checking against Brock Besser. And that penalty is killed, despite Ekholm being one of the Oilers' better penalty killers. The Oilers killed that penalty, and it is the first penalty that's killed. It's the fourth power play of the game, and it is the first one whose power play was actually killed. But the Canucks get another chance 4 minutes later when Darnell Nurse also cross-checks Linus Karlsson. This was one of the soft calls, probably the softest of the game, and the Canucks do convert on this. Elias Lindholm scoring his second power play goal of the game. It's his fifth goal of the playoffs. He's assisted by JT Miller. That's his 9th assist. And Quinn Hughes. Then there's a big hit thrown 1.5 minutes later with Zadorov really nails Evander Kane. He goes into the board. It's a great hit, but he doesn't stop there. He's kind of holding Evander Kane into the bench. That's a roughing penalty, but it's a 4-on-4 because the Oilers bench didn't handle it well either. And Corey Perry is selected for serving the penalty. It's 4-on-4. Nobody scores on it. Second period ends. The shots during that period were 14-4 in favor of the Oilers. And despite that, the Canucks still scored a goal because Skinner was really bad. Third period, Picard is a net. I don't know if he's ever had playoff action before, and if he has, it's been 5 years. And I mean NHL. He's played in the AHL. He's been good in the AHL, but it's been a while for the NHL. And the Oilers, they have an incredible period. And at this point, the Canucks can do nothing but get icing, block what they can, and hope Sheloff makes great saves. And he does. He makes quite a few great saves. The Oilers get a power play opportunity 2 minutes and 50 seconds in when Nikita Zadorov trips up Connor McDavid. Can't do that. It's a pretty stupid penalty to take. And but fortunately for the Canucks, they do kill that penalty. And they kill another one when Ian Cole cross-checks Evander Kane 11 minutes and 15 seconds in. That penalty is killed, and it was actually pretty poorly executed by the Oilers. It was the first one that... the power play out on the Zadorov penalty was pretty good. Just Sheloff was better. That power play that came just past halfway through the third wasn't very good. And the Canucks maintain a 2-goal lead. Eventually, however, the Oilers do make it a 1-goal lead. With 76 seconds remaining, Evander Bouchard gets his third goal. I think I said Evander. Evan Bouchard scores his third goal of the playoffs. He's assisted by Mattias Ekholm and Leon Draisaitl. And then Chris Knoblauch does something that hasn't been done since Mike Keenan. It's a pretty smart move that I don't think the NHL is happy that he did. It's where he puts in Skinner instead of Picard right there. Not for any reason. Picard saved all 3 shots he faced. Just so that the top line has some more time to rest for the final 76 seconds. It used to be that when you put in a goalie, they get a warm-up time. They don't anymore because Mike Keenan did this so much to get timeouts for his players. But Skinner still got a little bit of time. But they do not convert. They get some really good chances at the end that are either saved or blocked. Then there's a lot of rough stuff at the end, which Carson Soucy's call for penalty for cross-checking McDavid. Because his cross-check did hit McDavid's face. McDavid was cross-checked from behind by Zadorov, and as he's falling, he's cross-checked by Soucy in the face. We'll see. I don't expect any disciplinary action from that to come from the league, but there might be. I wouldn't be surprised if there is. And that came at the end of the game, so Soucy might get fined as well, since the Oilers don't get a power play out of it, since it was after the game. So it doesn't count against the Oilers' power play, is the important part, other than McDavid's health. Game ends 4-3 for the Canucks, thanks to some heroics from the team defense blocking and making sure the Oilers' 22 shots in the third weren't all high danger chances. Really great third period. The shots combined for the last 40 minutes were 36-7 in favor of the Oilers, but the Canucks were good enough to make sure that a lot of those shots weren't high danger chances, just chances. Sheloff's and the Vancouver defense are very in tune. Neither of them are playing perfect or incredible, But when Sheloff makes a mistake, the Canucks are very good to converge on the net and block for him while he recovers. And when the defense screws up, Sheloff is usually there to make a big save. He did have a great game. He's the first goalie in the series to have a 900 save percentage, and he did that with an exclamation mark. He saved 42 of 45, which is a lot more compared to Skinner, who allowed more goals on significantly less shots. He only made 11 saves on 15 shots he faced. Pickard was, as aforementioned, perfect in his 3 shots. Skinner absolutely has to be better. I do expect he will be better. One is not just bounce back, but like you kind of have to bounce back from a game like this, and I think Skinner will. He had a very bad game 2 against the Kings, and I pointed this out quite a bit in my Oilers reviews of those, is that Skinner was excellent after that terrible game he had, and hopefully for my sake and my sanity, he is excellent for the rest of the series, and we win. I hope I have some Canucks fans who disagree, because I'd like this channel to be more than just the Oilers, and it is, if you go look at my other videos. Anyways, looking at some of the team stats, it's Coulter Wall in the background, by the way. Oilers outshot the Canucks 45-18, including, as aforementioned, 36 in the last 40 minutes. The Canucks did hit the Oilers 50 times and received only 30 hits, though it's important to mention that the Oilers hit the Canucks more per shot they got. So, in a way, the Oilers were more punishing per offensive chance by the Canucks, but the Canucks did hit the Oilers more. Face-offs. Canucks won a lot of face-off, 57.6% of the face-offs they won. A lot of this is part of because McDavid and Drouin on the same line. Nugent Hopkins isn't a great face-off taker, and Henrique is out. And Carrick isn't playing that I've seen. Derek Ryan was in. He won his share of face-offs, but he doesn't get a large share. Power play for the Oilers was 2 for 4. They had 11 shots during those 4 power plays. Well, they had 11 shots on those first 3 power plays. They didn't get any on the 4th, and they allowed a shot against. The Oilers' penalty kill was uncharacteristically bad. They were only 1 for 3, or the Canucks were 2 for 3 on the power play. The Canucks had 4 shots on those during those 3 power plays. 2 of them went in. And that is my thinking. I do think the Oilers will bounce back. I hope McDavid and Dry are split up. I hope Henrique is back. Oh my goodness. He's really needed. And Skinner better bounce back too. Skinner is not confirmed to start the next game, but I think he will be. Looking at Knobloch's interview, he did say you will see more of Skinner, but he also said we do need more saves, and he also said, we're all emotional after this loss, so we'll see what the decision is. Again, I do expect it's Skinner. I think it should be Skinner, but we'll see. He absolutely has to be better. There's lots has to be better. The depth needs to be better. Some of the guys showed some signs of life. Fogle had some good chances. Janmark had a good shift. Ryan had a good shift. Perry, and I'm not just saying one good shift. I'm just saying that I was easy to notice. Like, oh, that was a really good shift by that guy, number 10, for example, which is Derek Ryan. Kane was noticeable as well. Like, some of the depth started to show up and try, but they're not clicking quite yet. I really think McDavid and Draisaitl need to be split. When they were put together for Game 2, I was kind of like, well, is that for just Canucks style? Is that for Draisaitl's injury? I assumed it was for Draisaitl's injury, so I understood it. And it worked really well that game. They both had 4 points. They both had a goal and 3 assists. The Canucks obviously answered. Because the nice thing is, if you're able to shut down or at least slow down McDavid and Draisaitl wasn't slowing down, McDavid was, then there's not too much you have to worry about if the depth isn't going to do much, and they weren't, because there's some injuries there, and some guys really need to step up. Who have stepped up in the regular season but aren't right now, and even have stepped up against the Kings, but they're not doing it against the Canucks. And maybe that we should give some credit to the Canucks for making it hard for the depth to step up. Anyways, Canucks lead the series 2-1. And before I leave, I wanted to mention there have been some punching bags for both teams. Nurse and Ceci. -5. They have been a -5 against Canucks. They were a -3 each. They were each a -3 in Game 1, and then -1s in both Game 2 and Game 3. Ian Cole, he's been a -1 in all 3 of the games. I actually think Ian Cole had a good game too. It just ended really badly for him. But those 3 have been holes. I don't know how much of it is Nurse versus CC. I've talked about Nurse before and why I respect him and like him and don't hate on him. But there's not much defending I'm going to be doing of his in this series. Certainly not CC. I've also talked about how I think CC's actually had a decent year. But this is not okay. Absolutely not okay. Their performances, they've not been good. They make a lot of mistakes. They're both capable defensemen when they're thinking. They just not usually thinking or not in tune. Now, 3 stars for the Oilers, because if you're new to the channel, I am an Oilers fan, so I will usually speak to the Oilers more, but I do have 3 stars for both teams as well. But for the 3 stars for the Oilers, it was pretty close. All 3 guys had a goal and assist. 3rd star is Mattias Ekholm. In addition to his 2 points, he had a hit, almost 24 minutes on the ice, and 1.5 minutes of penalty kill. Evan Bouchard, he also had a goal and assist, as mentioned. He had a hit, takeaway, and played over 31 minutes on the ice. 1st star for the Oilers was Leon Draisaitl. He had a goal, an assist, 2 takeaways, almost 30 minutes of time on ice, and was 10 for 19 in the faceoff circle. Leon Draisaitl was my 3rd star of the game with those stats. Ahead of him was Elias Lindholm at the 2nd star position, 2 goals, 3 hits, 2 blocks, 20 minutes and 22 seconds time on ice, and well over 3 minutes shorthanded. He won half of the 28 faceoffs he took. 1st star, you'll probably guess, it was Brock Besser, 2 goals, 1 assist, 4 hits, and a takeaway in his nearly 21 minutes time on ice. Big shout out to JT Miller, who had 2 assists, good defensive play, and Artur Shilovs, who, had 42 saves. So there was lots of guys to choose on both teams, but I could only choose 3. And those 3 are the same then as the official 3 stars as well. Besser, Lindholm, and Draisaitl in that order. Anyways, that's it for me. Once again, thank you so much for making this far in the video and even just watching it. I hope you liked it, and if you did, press the like button down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And please subscribe and turn on notifications for more. I will see you in the next one, and hopefully in a lighter mood, for me at least. If you're a Canucks fan, you'll get over it. I won't. Bye for now.